So here's my pep talk introduction to this last section that we're going to do. This is very heavy in the calculator, which is both good and bad. It's good because if you listen to me, you can just type everything and the calculator will give you the answer. And that's really nice. It's bad because if you don't listen to me and you don't know what buttons to press, you can't get an answer at all. Okay, so you're going to have to watch and listen and remember what buttons to press. So we're going to do this one as an intro to this. Write an equation to represent the dots on the graph. Okay, so if you connect these points, what is your slope? So we go -2. So it's going to be y equals -2x. We're going to do y equals mx plus b. So it'd be y equals -2x. And then your y-intercept is which number? Good. So +3. But here's the thing. Do you see how those were perfect? Like when I drew a line, it went through all of the points perfectly. Okay. So what if it's not in a perfectly straight line? We use what is called the line of best fit, which is saying it's the best we can do. It's not perfect, but the line of best fit, or sometimes you'll see it called the curve of best fit. So these directions are going to say, find the line of best fit. Now, here's how you use it in the calculator. You're going to have to write down these steps. Maybe put some stars next to this because this is the part you're going to need to remember how to type. In Desmos, you're going to click the plus sign. And choose table. When you click the plus sign, it's going to open a little menu and you're going to choose table. And I'm going to show all this to you and we're going to practice a bunch of problems, but I'm going to write down all the instructions first, right? So you're going to click the plus sign and choose table. Then you're going to enter all of the data, which is the slightly tedious part because you have to type all the numbers in, but here's my pep talk for that. I could bring a 5-year-old in here and tell them to just type numbers, okay? You can do it, it's just a little tedious, but you got to get through it. So type everything in. All right, then you're going to click the magnifying glass. And I'll show that to you on there as well. Click the magnifying glass. What that's going to do is it's going to move the window so that you can see all the data. All right, and then here's what you're going to type in. And I'm going to erase some stuff, so don't write this down right away. You would do y equals mx plus b, but you have to change 2 things about it. You have to put little ones after the x and the y. And because it's not perfect, instead of an equals sign, you're going to put this little squiggly thing that's called a tilde. So it's y equals mx plus b, but you're going to put ones after the x and the y, ones after the variables, and then change the equal sign to the little squiggly. And again, you stay calm and focused and pay attention. I'm going to take you through this step by step and show you where all these buttons to press are. You just need to listen to me. Yeah, you need to write that down. It's y1 squiggle or tilde mx1 plus b, but it's y equals mx plus b. That didn't change. You just made a couple of alterations. Now, how you use that line to make predictions is you're going to type in either y equals whatever or x equals whatever. Sorry, I said that backwards to the way I wrote it. But if they give you x, you're going to type x equals whatever that number is. If they give you y, you're going to type y equals whatever that number is. And then click on the intersection. And that will give you your answer. So you click where the 2 lines meet. We're just going to practice a ton of these. And for this, I would like for you to keep your Chromebooks closed and just watch, because if you're trying to watch me do it and type it in yourself at the same time, you're not going to be able to pay attention to what's going on. You will get to practice this when you do your Delta Math, so you will get to do the typing. But for right now, I'd like for you to watch. And I'm going to share my screen so it'll show up on the video. So let's read this first one and figure out what's actually going on. This is about the age of the car and the value in thousands of dollars. The car is not $24. It starts out at $24,000. Do you see what you understand how much cars cost? Okay. What is happening to these values? Does that make sense that a car's value would go down over time? You use it and you wear it out. I mean, unless it's some sort of vintage car, like the value for most things is going to go down as time goes on. Okay. So let me share my screen. We'll come over here to Desmos. What is the first button I said to click? And you can look back. I just gave you a list of all the instructions. What's the first thing we're going to click? Plus, okay, so watch. You have to watch to see where this is. Do you see this plus sign? I'm going to click that and then choose table. Now, this is the slightly annoying part where you have to enter all the data. So I'm going to enter the X's. Now, those are just the numbers 1 through 7. So that was pretty quick. Now I'm going to enter the Y's. 24, 21, 19, 18, 15, 12, 8. Did that even take all that long? No. Okay, so I get that that's tedious, but you're going to have to type it in. All right, after that, you're going to click the magnifying glass, which is right there. Do you see that? Yes. It's called Zoom Fit. What it's going to do is make the window so you can see all the points. Do you see how they make sort of a line, but it's not perfect? Like it looks line-ish. So then we're going to come down here and look, I'm going to type y equals mx plus b. But a line did not show up. What are the 2 changes I need to make to that? 1, so I'll go there and I hit a 1. After the X, I'm going to put a 1. And then I need to change the equal sign to the tilde. Now, you can't see this on there because it's on my like actual keyboard. But that little squiggle is next to the button 1. It's next to the number 1. And you hit shift. If you can't find it, I will come around and show it to you, but it's the top left of your keyboard. It's right below escape. Do you see how it drew in a line? And it goes basically through most of the points. It's the best fit line. It's like as good as we could get it. Now, we're going to write our answer on the paper. Have we done any work yet? No, these are no work problems. You will literally just write the answer. Do you see right here where it says M and B? I can't really make it much bigger than that, but do you see that? So on your paper, you're going to write y equals, for letter A, y equals, and it says M is negative 2.5. Do you see me pointing to that right here? So you'll have negative 2.5x. And unless you're told something different, let's just round it to 1 decimal point. B says 26.71. So we'll just say 26.7. And that's the answer. You don't have to do any written work, but you have to know what buttons to press or you can't get an answer at all.
You're going to be
right? Yeah, I am. Okay. So let's interpret what the slope means. The value of the slope is negative. That's because what's happening to the car? Why is that negative? Decreasing in value. Okay. So we'll say the car loses. Now, it doesn't lose $2.5. It's in thousands. So the car loses $2,500 per year. Whenever you're interpreting a slope, you need that word per in there. Something per something else. That's a slope. So the car loses $2,500 per year. And then the y-intercept, where did it start? What was it? 26.7? That means the original value of the car was not $26, it's $26,700. So the original price, like before any time went by, is $26,700. And then C is a prediction. We want to predict what will the cost be when it's 10 years old. Let's make sure that we common sense understand what's going on here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we're plugging in 10 years, what do you think we're going to get? A value that's what? Yeah, less than, like, do you see how these are going down? So less than 8, which mean less than 8,000. So is the years old, is that X or Y? Look at your table. Is years old X or Y? Are you guys, stop? X. Do you see how age, years is X? We're going to type in X equals 10. That's what they gave us. X is 10. And we're going to see what Y is. Sometimes they do that backwards, so you have to be careful which is which. But I'm going to share my screen. You guys just need to watch. Watch. I'm going to come down here to the third little box. I'm going to type X equals 10. And do you see how it put a vertical line in there at 10? I'm going to click on the intersection. Can you see that? I know it's a little bit small, but can you see what number is? 1.7. Now the car is not worth $1. It's $1,714. I heard you. Okay, so now we're gonna try another one. I want you guys to just watch. I'm gonna share my screen, but you need to watch and pay attention. I'm gonna clear all this out, start all over. You need to do that every time. Please listen to this because I had to answer this question like 4 bajillion times last year. If you don't clear it all out and start over, it's not going to work. And then everyone always calls me over, it's not working. And I'm like, did you clear it all out? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you have to start over. Okay. So what's the first button? Plus, and then table. Now this is the slightly annoying part because I have to type that all in. 30, 20, 60, 90. Here, time me. We'll see how long this even takes. I doubt it'll really be that long. I mean, I know it looks like a lot, but look, I'm done with the X's already. Oop. All right, and then the Y's, we got 87, and then 74, and then 92. And I'm gonna stop reading them because I know that's annoying. All right, how long was that? Like a minute? You can get it done. All right, now I don't see any points here. What do I hit that will show me what the graph looks like? All right, your magnifying glass. Look, do you see how it's kind of like a line? Not great, but like we could put a line through it, sort of. All right, so I'm going to come down here, and what do I type? All right, y equals mx plus b. And then what 2 changes are we going to make? Yeah, put the 1s in and make it a tilde, a little squiggly. Oh my gosh, it showed up. Now, I know it's really small. I'll read it to you, but do you see M and B right here where I'm pointing? All right. What you're going to write on your paper is y equals, and we'll round to 1 decimal point. It says 0.24. So we'll say 0.2x. And then it says for B, 71.61. So we'll just round that to 71.6. We did not do any written work. It's just all in the calculator, but you have to know what buttons to hit. Okay. Oh, I forgot to read this one. What is this one about? We have to interpret what on earth's going on. What is this the relationship between? Oh my gosh. Hey, guys, let me show you this again. Do you see how it has a positive slope? It goes up. That means the more you study, the higher your grade's going to be. Isn't that crazy? Okay. So what is it going up? 0.2. So your grade goes up 0.2% per, because it's something per something else, per minutes studied. We'll just say minutes. So for each minute you study, your grade's going to go up by a little bit. The more you study, the higher your grade's going to be. Now the y-intercept is 0 whatever. So that's what your grade would be if you did not study at all. Like when we did the car, that was the price of the car, like to start with. So it's like at the beginning. So what was our y-intercept? 71.6. So that means your grade is 71.6% with no studying. If you didn't study, that's what you'd get. So if you want it to go up, then you need to study. Now, these last 2 are predictions. You have to be careful with X and Y to not get them mixed up. This says predict the test score if we study 40 minutes. So look back at the table. Is minutes X or is minutes Y? If you just read it, it's going to be right there. So what I'm going to do is type in X equals 40. And we're going to figure out what Y is. So just look. I'm going to come back over here, share my screen. I'm going to type in X equals 40. Do you see how a green line showed up at 40 there? Click on the intersection. We get 40 and then 81.6. Yep, so Y equals 81.6. I'm going to put percent because it's a grade. So what that's saying is if you study 40 minutes, your grade would be 81.6. That sounds like a really hard test to me. Now this one's backwards. How long did a student study if their test score was 78? So look back. Do you see how test score is Y? See how it's backwards? Good. We're going to put Y is 78 and predict what X is. So you just have to read the table. All right. So again, watch, I will show you what it looks like. I'm going to get rid of that x equals 40, and I'm going to type y equals 78. Do you see how it's a horizontal line that time? Boy, bucks, y equals. Okay, good. Thank you for heads nodding. So when your score is 78, that means you studied for 25. Now that's going to round up. It's really small, so you probably can't see it. It's 25.6 minutes. I don't know why I didn't box that one in. So you just have to be careful with which one's X and which one's Y. And if you just go back and read the table, it'll tell you. So let me see on this next one. Here's what we will do. We will do one more together where I'm showing it to you, and then I will pause the recording and have you guys get out your Chromebooks and try to type. So one more where you guys watch. So I'm going to share my screen. Since I'm starting a new problem, hey guys, what do I need to do? You have to get rid of all of this, or it will make a mistake and it won't work. You have to clear it all out. All right. Plus sign, table. All right. What are all the X's are just 1 through 8. That's always nice when that happens because see how quick that is. All right. And then what are the Y's? 19. Here, while I'm typing them, why don't you guys read the question and figure out what it's even about? What is this one about? All right. Sales of DVDs. This is a little bit out of date. No one really buys DVDs anymore. And the number of weeks since it was released. So here, let me stop sharing and we'll go back to this. So what's happening to the money? And it's in millions of dollars because they're selling lots of DVDs, but what's happening to them? Going down. That's because when a movie comes out, a lot of people probably went and bought it. And then as time goes by, less and less people are going to buy it. Does this make sense? Going to go down. All right. So let's go and type in to get our equation. I'm going to put, oh, I forgot to hit the magnifying glass. Do you see how they're going down? Negative slope. All right. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to go put the ones and change that to a tilde. There we go. I know it's really small, but do you see m and b right here? All right. So you're going to write on your paper, y equals. It says m is negative 1.8. So you'll have negative 1.8x. And it says B is 19.3. It was 19.25, but I wrote 19.3. Just if you aren't asked, round it to 1 decimal point. So interpret the slope. Do you see how it's negative? So that means sales decrease. Now it doesn't go down by $1.8. It's $1.8 million. So sales decrease $1.8 million per, you need that word per, is it per week or per year? What was it? Per week. Sales decrease $1.8 million per week. All right, and then the y-intercept was this 19.3. That's at the beginning. The y-intercept is 0, whatever. So that's after 0 weeks go by. So that means sales were $19.3 million at week 0, or like however you would want to word that. You could say that a bunch of different ways, like in the first week, like at the beginning. I don't know. Y-intercept is at 0 though. It's 0 whatever. So now we'll do a couple predictions. Predict the sales after 10 weeks. Look at the table. Is weeks X or Y? Good. Okay, you just have to read it. I'm going to type X equals 10. We'll predict Y. Just look up here at the screen. I'm going to type X equals 10 and then click on the intersection. Can you see it? I know it's kind of small. Can you see it at all? 10 comma 0.9. Now it's not $0.9, it's $0.9 million. I would love $0.9 million. That'd be great. But it makes sense that it went down. It was a negative slope. And then this one says predict number of weeks for a sale of $3 million. The $1 million is Y. Okay. So I'm going to put Y equals 3 and we'll predict X. So just make sure you don't do it backwards. You just have to pay attention and read the table. So let me get rid of that X equals 10. I'm going to type in Y equals 3. Click on the intersection for Y being 3. How many weeks? Yeah, 8.9 weeks went by. All right, so for this one, and you guys were typing it in yourself, I'm gonna share my screen. So I got it typed in. Do you see how the dots are sort of in a line? Like it's a line-ish? Okay. Oops,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. There we go. So do you see how it's kind of a line? Like a line-ish? So we're gonna do y equals mx plus b. I'm gonna go put ones after the x and y and change it to the squiggly wiggly. I like that you called it that. Okay, so I got for M 18.2 confirmation on that. Can you take your hood off? And then B is 1.8. That okay. So let me go and write that on my paper. Y equals, oh, I forgot what it was already. 18.2 x plus 1.8. Now interpret the slope and the y-intercept. The slope is going to make sense for this one. The y-intercept really isn't, and we'll talk about that. So your slope is 18.2. What was this one about? It was about earnings and the hours you worked. So that means that this person, they make 18.2, or if you want to put the zero there, $18.20. What's the word we need when we talk about slope? Per hour. So they make $18.20 per hour. What do you guys think? Is that good, bad, not good? I don't know. What do you think? It's decent.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the y-intercept's not going to make any sense because it's for 0 hours. So what this means is that they make 1.8, so $1.80 for 0 hours. That doesn't make any sense because if you work 0 hours, how much money are you going to make? $0. But it's because the line's not perfect. It's the line of best fit. Do you see how it's off by a little bit? It's the line of best fit. It's like the best we could do. So that doesn't really make very much sense. If you don't work any hours, you're not going to make any money. No one's just going to hand you $1.80 for no reason, right? So predict the earnings for a server who works 8 hours. This is my bad. I forgot to put like the thing in there, but time is always going to be X. If you have minutes, hours, days, years, whatever it is, that's always going to be X. So we're going to put, and I want you all to type this. Go back to your Desmos. In the next box down, you're going to type X equals 8. Now I'm going to have to move the graph a little bit to get to the intersection. But if this person works 8 hours, what is the predicted amount of money that they'll make? Did you guys get 147.50? Okay, cool. So 147.50. And here's the last thing I'm gonna